Hello, welcome to class number 3. I'm Rebecca Skeel, and this is the Wisdom School Masterclass series, Spiritual Growth Equals Business Growth. Wow, class number 3. Lots of sharing, lots of wonderful comments from you. I've enjoyed receiving them, reading them. And in the next class, I'm going to address some of the issues that have come up for people when they've listened to these videos. But right now I want to put on my glasses. I decided to use another pair of glasses today. What do you think? Somebody asked me one time, well, Rebecca, how many pairs of glasses do you have? I have to admit I have a lot. They're fun for me. And if I need them, I might as well have fun with them, right? So today, we're going to dive into another class, another teaching, another challenge, another solution. But first, I want to recap just a bit. On class number 1, I talked to you about your big why. I think that's a great place to start. Why do you do what you do? And of course, I went into a lot more detail about that. I started talking about my own story. And I told you that you are responsible for the stories that you tell yourself, because if you deny them or ignore them, they will impact you along the way in your business growth and your spiritual growth, but mostly in your business growth. And of course, the antidote to that, the solution to that, is to take a deeper spiritual journey. And I talked about the importance of self-acceptance in that first class, number 1. Then in class number 2, I talked about commitment and self-compassion, and that there are no quick approaches to business growth or spiritual growth, even though the bright, shiny objects out there will say to you or entice you or try to seduce you, and I'm going to use that word on purpose because I was seduced when I first started, so I know wherein I speak, into thinking that there's a quick fix, there's a shortcut, just do it this way, and everything will be hunky-dory. And the truth is that anything that we're building takes time, takes commitment, and what that commitment truly is. And the commitment that I am talking about here, not only are you committed to your service, your practice, your storefront, your product, your customers, your clients, but you must be committed to yourself. And the way to do that is in self-compassion, because there's so many challenges, inner challenges that come along. You know, I wrote, where did I put that? I wrote a list of challenges that we as solopreneur, purposepreneur, heart-blazing, calling people follow or are challenged with. Because I know all of them, because I've experienced all of them. And I've worked with others that this is what we run into inside ourselves. And I've made a list here, so I thought I would just read it. Not good enough. Boy, I've had a nickel for every time I heard that. Imposter syndrome, comparisons, and feeling inferior. Self-sabotage. There's so many ways we sabotage ourselves. Stress. Yeah. The stress that comes from standard that we set for ourselves, trying to be perfect, going for those goals. The old stories, I've talked about that already. Perfectionism, that's a big one. Thinking we have to have it all perfect before we bring it out there. Hiding, playing small, I'm going to talk about that more today. We don't have a risk tolerance. In other words, we want to stay in our comfort zone. If you're going to grow, you have to get out of your comfort zone. Now, that's a whole class in itself. I probably won't get to it in this series. Well, maybe I will. But that's a really big, important teaching, and also place that we must learn to be in and feel safe in. And that is the unknown. And then burnout. Yeah, burnout is a big issue for those of us who are working out of our inspiration, our heart, especially when things aren't going the way that we wanted, assumed, expected, were told, whatever. Yeah, burnout, it can happen. And we can lose our energy and our spark and our heart, and what to do about that. Okay, so that's a list that I know and that I've worked with others. So that's why commitment and self-compassion are so important, because anytime we run into any of those, we need to know how to work with ourselves in a compassionate way so that we can take those challenges, those uh, pain points inside of ourselves, and be able to transform them into adding to our heart blessing love, which is our service in the world. Okay, today, class number 3. Your calling matters because you matter. You know, starting a business or a practice or opening a storefront requires that we know some basic business practices, doesn't it? You know, we need to know, first of all, how to run a business, uh, how to bring in money and how to pay out money. We need to know a good marketing plan that's going to work for us as well as the people we serve, and other things too. But oftentimes we leave out the most important ingredient to our business, to your business growth, and that is you. That ingredient is you. You need as much time, as much investment, as much learning of best spiritual practices, personal growth practices as your business. And I have found working with mission-driven, purpose-led, heart-blazing callings is that those that flounder, those that get off track, those that really never really become a sustaining business, you know, the owner of that business has ignored themselves. They put all of their apples, if you will, into the practices of, or to in the basket of, oh no, I need another workshop. I need another, I need to go to another event. I need to learn from someone else. They have the magic that's going to make my business really sing. And I want to say, what you need to invest in is yourself, to know who you are. Now, you might say to me, well, Rebecca, I know who I am. I'm an artist. And I go, yes, and who are you? Or you might say, well, I'm a healer. Yes, and who are you? Or, well, I know who I am. I'm a visionary leader. Yes, and who are you? When we don't know who we are, the deeper journey of what I mean by that, then we often have a sense that we are an imposter. Who am I to do this work in the world? I'm afraid someone's going to find out that I don't have the credentials, or I don't really know what I'm talking about, or I do know what I'm talking about, but sometimes I don't, or whatever. In other words, we feel like an imposter, don't we? Or we are hiding, and we just bring a little bit of it out, but not all of us, not 100%. We're playing small. We're keeping everything, you know, really small. We don't charge very much. Oh, this is okay. We minimize everything. We make excuses. We sabotage ourselves, and there's lots of ways we can do that. And we also, and I used this word before, minimize this vision. You know, we have this heart blazing vision. We've had it for a long time. We've tried different things. We've, you know, put our toe in the water and go, oh, no, 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 we can't do this now. This isn't the time. I need to go feed the kids. I need to pay the mortgage. I need to make sure I have lots of money in the bank. I need to, whatever. We make up the excuses and we minimize it. Now, I'm not here to say that there is not a good time for something. And when I work with people, I really ask them a bunch of questions when they come to me and saying, okay, I really want to bring this thing out into the world. How do I do that? I'm very purposeful with them, asking them a lot of sober questions, making sure, okay, are you really ready for this? And even though you might say, okay, well, you check in with them about their life and about their finances and about, yes, I do, but more important to that than that, I say, do you know who you are? And if not, then that's where we need to start, because that is the foundation for everything that you're going to do, the deeper journey of you. Okay, so knowing who you are is everything. And it's also beyond the roles you play, the talents, the gifts, all of that is obviously part of the package, but knowing who you are is really important. So the case study today, I'm gonna take off my glasses because I don't need to look at my notes for this. Case study today is me, my story, or my journey. 2010, I had already been in private practice, with a counseling practice that was successful, modest, but it was successful, for 20 years. I had published my first book. I had launched my wisdom school. I had students. I was teaching. Yeah, I was really happy being a kind of big fish in a small pond. But then 2010 happened. Who knows? The stars aligned. Actually, I do know. I have some inner, let's say, inner knowing about why 2010 was important for me. But what happened in 2010 is that there was a knock on my door inside of me that said, girlfriend, it is time for you to take your workout into a bigger playing field. And I knew that this was going on because I was restless. I was a bit bored. It's kind of embarrassing to say, but I was. I was doing the same old, same old. I'd done it for a long, long time, many, many years. It was kind of like, okay, all right, okay, I can continue to do this, but what else is there? And so I was restless. And when the knock came on the door to take my workout into a bigger playing field, which meant take it out on the web, create a bigger business, have a team, all of that kind of thing, that's what came forward. Oh, but along with that was not just, oh, okay, well, here's the door right here. All I have to do is just kind of walk through it. Oh, no, 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 no. What came with that is my private practice went away. Not overnight, but over several months. All of a sudden, my private clients dried up. Uh-oh, here was my income, right? Here was how I was making a living. So the big invitation came through at the same time, the way that I was playing it safe and saying, well, I can just have one foot in one world and one foot in the other. No. I was like, nope. You're going to have to be all in. You're going to have to commit. You're going to have to know your big why. And not only that, you're going to have to know who you are. Well, I knew who I was because I was on a spiritual journey. I've been on a spiritual path for many, many years. That fueled everything I did, but it was very different bringing it out to you, standing on a stage in an event, a 3-day event, and really sharing the rawness, the heart blazing love of who I was, to share my sacred calling, to invite others to also take this journey with me, to to begin to play on a whole new playing field where we were bringing our big vision out into the world. Because the reason that's so scary is because the world will not support you and would not support me in doing that. In fact, the world will put up all manner of challenges. The world will ignore you and me. And I knew all this. I knew all this intuitively. So I really had to go deeper into who I was and why now? And why my big why? And not only was I doing it for me, but I was inviting you to come along. I was like, oh my goodness, is anybody going to even, first time I did an event, it was like, is anybody even going to show up? And that's what I began to do. I began to do events and workshops and run classes online and step out on more speaking engagements and write another book. And yeah, it took off in a whole nother direction into aligning power and ambition with that purpose and knowing that those two go together. All of that goes together. And that's part of the spiritual growth. When we realize that, oh, I have to be ambitious. And that's not a word that a lot of people like. Ambition is not seen in our culture, in our society, as a good thing a lot of the time. Power is not seen in this culture as a good thing. So not only do we need to bring the ambition and power out, but we also need to clean up and work through all of the old stories about ambition and power inside ourselves. Okay. So when I say in class number 3 that your calling matters because you matter, I really mean that the minimizing that we do, the playing small, the hiding out, are all ways in which we tell ourselves that we do not matter and that this does not matter, because I don't see it anywhere out here. What I want to do, what I want to bring forward, it's not role model out here. Nobody else is doing this. What if people laugh at me? What if they don't show up? Yeah, this is big time fears of abandonment, rejection, and also a feeling of, am I really destined to do this? Is this my soul work? Is this my blueprint, my sacred blueprint this lifetime? And I want to say yes, yes, and yes. So that's really what's behind all of the masterclass. Spiritual growth equals business growth. It doesn't matter which way you approach it, whether or not you come in from a business place, you know how to make money, you're making money, and you want to bring in that calling, that purpose, you're going to run right into this. Or you start off with that blazing heart calling and really want to form it into something that you can do what you love, share it with others, and also make a living at it, make money. You're going to run right into this too. It doesn't matter which way you come at it. I've seen it over and over and over again. I was running a class last night, and one of the women in the class who's been working with me since 2014, that was actually the first time I put on my event, said, you know, Rebecca, you didn't talk about this years ago like this. And I said, I know. This has been part of my spiritual growth, to really talk about the business part of this, because I don't want who we are and what we do. It is so important. The world is crying out for it to be relegated to the fringes, so that Main Street is the same old, same old. And I'm not going to get into that, but you know what I mean. It's like we need to be in on the main street. Those of us that have this vision, this calling, this blazing love, that we've come here to serve, things that have never been offered or shared or done the way that we will do them right in Main Street. We need to be there. And to do that, we must have a thriving, successful business, which means it's making money. Okay. So this is class number 3. And I know I didn't have you write anything in this class, but if you'd like to, after the video is over, write me some comments, some sharing. You can actually post right under this video, or you can always send me an email, and that's in your email that you get. Send me an email in my email address, which is right in the email you get with these videos. So coming soon to your inbox is the last class in this series. It's called Making It All Practical. Making it all practical. The spiritual, making it all practical. Okay. So until next time, thank you again for sharing with me. I look forward to any comments that you might have. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.